today. I hope you're all doing very, very well. My name is Mama Leo, and welcome to my little show, A Little Allotment. If you aren't new here, welcome back. And for those who are new here, I have an allotment which is essentially a large garden that I have rented from my local council. It, however, is in terrible shape and it needs a lot of work. So I started this little series to help both motivate me to get it up to scratch and to share my love and passion for gardening, having lots of fun and bringing knowledge and gaining knowledge along the way. It is worth noting I have had this allotment for nearly 2 years now, and probably a little bit longer. And I also have autism and ADHD, so I have a really hard time focusing and staying focused and staying motivated. And making this series has really helped. We've already covered a couple of things. We've cleared up a nice hazardous area. We've built a fence. We've built a path. If you want to see those videos, they're also on my page. Go and check those out. So today, what we are going to be doing is possibly one of the most important jobs on any allotment at all. We are going to be building a compost heap. A large compost heap. We will have smaller ones dotted throughout the allotment over time, but initially we need a huge one because we have a lot of green waste to get rid of, we have a lot of old wood to get rid of, and we need compost. We always need compost. So, with introductions out of the way, and me telling you what we're gonna do out of the way, we're also gonna do a couple of other things in this episode. It's not just gonna be building a compost heap, don't worry, but after now that I've got that tooled and out of the way, without further ado, let us go to the area where we are going to be building said giant compost heap. Yeah? Okay, come on then. Sorry, I forgot my shovel. We're gonna need that. Okay, come on. Okay, here we... Wait, what? 1 second. That's better. I don't know what happened there. It just seems to have gotten a bit lost in the ether. It's funny because I don't even need it right now. Anyway, it's a bit too small. So, this is the area that we are going to be working with. This is where we're going to be building our compost heap. It's not much of a compost heap at the moment. It's more just a mound of crap. So we're going to have to dig it all out, get it all flat, and get it all nice and prepared. But I'm not 100% sure what makes a good compost heap, so I'm having to do plenty of research for that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to head back to my studio. We are going to draw all of this out so that we know what we're working with. And then we're going to build a nice perimeter going around. I want to make sure that we have some kind of ramp so that I can easily get my wheelbarrow up to the top, because when you're placing new compost on, you want to make sure that that goes on top, not at the sides or underneath, because otherwise it can just take a bit longer and you don't have much access to it. Right, really excited to get this part of this project done, plus the little area where we're going to do some actual vegetable growing, because all year long I have not been able to get my hands properly down and dirty into the mud. And that is what I want to do, because that is my passion and that is my love. I love gardening, I love the mud, I love the plants, and I want to do that rather than just build things. And I do like building things, it's really fun, but my passion is the garden. So let's go home, let's plan out our compost heap, and then we'll come back. Right, fab. Let's go home. Okay, so this is my book. We're going to quickly draw out just a basic sort of idea of what the compost heap is going to look like. So we'll start here, and what I'm after is sort of a wall on one side. We've already got the fence here, so that's fine. And then I want an entrance. Ooh, okay, I've done it wrong. Done it wrong. Right, I'll start over. Anyway. Oops. So, we want a wall on this side. This is my fence to the allotment itself. And then on this side, what I'm going to do is I want a wall going here, so this is facing the shack, facing the main part of the allotment, etc. There'll be a gap here for me to go and just dump stuff, but also here, what I'd like is a ramp, so that I can use I'd like a ramp here, so that I can use my wheelbarrow and wheel it up and dump it in. So, this will be the basic compost area right here. And that is its basic actual shape. I know you will probably be expecting some amazing artisticness, but no, this is the basic actual shape. So, remove that, and now here is how a compost heap should be built up. So we're gonna put it as a square. This will be the bottom, the base, and on the base what we want to do is we want to take loads of little sticks and logs and make a small that was my chicken, and make a small layer of rotting wood. This is to help with drainage. This is also to give the things that live in the compost a nice place to live, like isopods, worms, bugs, etc. Then from there, what we want is we want a nice layer of old green matter, which is like plants, leaves, sticks, etc, etc, etc. Then on top would be a nice bit of straw or sawdust, something like that, something absorbent for the water. And then again on top of that is all just organic matter, things from your kitchen, old vegetables, crops that didn't do so well, crops that rotted, crops that got eaten, etc, 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 and that's the basic layer. And then that'll all combine, and when that all combines, on top of that you have to water it to feed it, and then when that all combines, over time you just keep adding all of your organic produce. You can bring that from home, you can have it from the allotment, all kinds of things like that on top, and then that all breaks down over the summer, and then it gets really hot over the summer, and then when it comes to the following year you have fresh compost that you can use for your plants, and you just keep adding to it, and it's like a self-sustaining thing. I'll give you a good look at the simple design that we want. This is what it's going to look like from the top, this is what it's going to look like from the side. Basically, anyway. So, let's get out to the actual composting area where we want to build it and start building. Fantastic. So one of the first things that we've got to do is we've got to actually clear out the area. There's loads of old soil there, there's loads of plants actually growing in there. There will be plants wanting to grow inside your compost, but that's where the heat comes in. So if you've layered it correctly, you're going to get a lot of heat generated on the inside due to all of the compression and all of the layers and all of the water and all of the stuff that's going on inside. So that will end up killing off seeds and alive plant matter, but don't worry so much if you have like nettles and dot growing out of it. They grow deep anyway, so they're not really going to take much out of your compost. And if you've got things growing in your compost, it is a good sign that your compost is good compost. So we'll get outside and we will go and get it dug out. I'm going to get it dug out. There is a path there that I need to uncover so that we can see where we're going, and then we'll get it built. We've got to build the walls first, and then we've got to layer it properly. So we're going to have to gather the materials to get it layered, etc, etc, etc. Yeah? Okay, so let's go. So here we have the basic area. Sorry, the camera's a bit shaky. Here we have the basic area laid out. I've got a back wall there. I need to find something to bring a wall out here. Have a gap here, a bit of a wall there with a ramp leading up, and that will be where our compost is. Don't mind the rest of this mess. I'm just going to clear this in my own time. So let's go and try and find something we can use as a wall. I was initially going to try and use this glass thing as one of the walls, but that is far too heavy for my little arms to lift. So we're going to have to find something else in lieu of a wall. There and here. I'm hoping to find more pieces of metal like that, but most of it's just used for the fencing, and obviously I can't just take shared fencing, can I? So we'll figure it out. I have all of this rotted wood that I can use for the base of it. There's lots of sticks and everything about the place, so hopefully we're grand. You might be wondering why I don't just put all of this soil that I'm digging out into the compost itself, and that's because this soil is already composted. Most of it's already used, and there's not really much point in putting it in the there's not really much point in putting it in the composter. And that's mainly for the same reason that, you know, once you've made something in a production warehouse, you don't really leave it there, do you? That's because it's making compost, it's not storage for compost. If you want storage for compost, you have bags and stuff. I apologize in advance about the sound quality of the last part of this episode. I forgot to charge my studio mic, so it's not the best, but we're almost done, so hang in there. Because of the sheer amount of time it's actually taken me to build this compost heap and get it all done, I'm not really going to be able to get much else done in this episode, but the next episode will be coming out relatively shortly because I have a lot more equipment and a lot more stuff to do, so it's okay. While you were gone, I managed to find another bit of wall. It's just an old radiator that I've used, and I've started filling up this part with soil, and this is going to be my ramp. I'm going to like lay some wood over the top of it to make my ramp, but I need to continue filling it up. This is the inside of the compost heap. It's nice and large, big fan of it, and what we're going to use is this bits of wood here. I'm going to grab some other sticks and bits and bobs and whatnot to put down as a base layer. Then what we're going to do is we're going to travel all the way down the bottom of the lane, grab a wheelbarrow load full of manure, which is dropped off by our local farmers because they're very nice. I also have a whole bunch of straw left over from my chicken, and that's really great for the compost because it's full of his manure as well. And I've got a whole bunch of other sort of organic matter to put on top of that also. So it's going to go wood, manure, organic matter, and that's it for now. Yeah? Fantastic. Okay. So let's finally get this compost heap finished. Woof! These things really shouldn't take this long. So, here we are inside the compost heap. Obviously, you won't want to be in the compost heap once it's a compost heap, but this is our starting point. As you can see, I've already laid just a few bits of wood here. That's just what we had. Got all that wood down in front of me here. You can't quite see it, but it's all there. I showed you it just before. We're going to layer that on, but we don't want to make it too compact. We want to make sure that there's plenty of airy space so that it drains nicely. The way to do that is to just throw them in sporadically in no particular pattern. At least that's my opinion anyway. So this is our first layer. Absolutely amazing. This is a composting bag. This is great for small amounts. It has holes and breathable stuff, but I mainly just use this for collecting organic matter that I have about the place. I've got loads of straw in here. That's a bit of paper. Got loads of straw in here, loads of old leaves, bits of like used soil that's not that used, bits of wood, and other organic things like eggshells, vegetable pieces from home and from here as well. And it smells so fresh. Not great, but fresh. This we're going to use as our next layer on top of this, but we're not going to use all of it. We're just going to use it as our next layer. Then we have a layer of manure, and then we're going to put the rest of this on top, and that's the compost heap done for now. It won't be ready to use until next year, unfortunately, which means I am going to have to buy soil for this year, but by next year I will have some top-notch soil. So for this, all we're going to do is just take some enormous handfuls of it and just sprinkle it across and get a nice, even as possible layer as we can. Now we have a big old barrel of poop. This stuff is going to make the compost really, really, really rich in NPK. Another great gardening friend for your compost is worms. These guys will take down all of that organic matter, eat it all, and poop out compost. So you want as many of these in your compost as possible, but don't worry if you can't find many, they'll find the compost. There we go. that is us finished the compost. Now, provided I manage to get a before bit of footage, cue inspirational transition. Now I know you're probably looking at that thinking, Leo, that's awfully empty for a compost heap. And you would be correct. Yes, it is quite empty right now, but that's because over this coming year, we're going to have a lot of stuff to put on top of it. We're going to have a lot of old matter from the allotment. We're going to have a lot of matter from the house to come and place on it, and it'll fill up over the year. But that's just its main base layers at the moment. That's what it needs to sort of kickstart the symbiosis, kickstart the process. Yeah? Next episode will be about building a coop, and I will show you the area where we're going to build a coop. It does look a bit at the moment, but we need to build a coop for the female chickens separate to the cockerel's coop. He needs to be on his own, the hens need to be together. So, I will show you where we are. But apart from that, that's about all we've got time for this episode, because I am running out of steam and I have got to get this next episode underway, because we've only got about a week, and evidently I am not very good at sticking to a time frame, but I don't have much of a choice now because chickens are involved. So, I'll show you where we're going, and then, so I'll show you where we're going, right? Okay, come on. So this is the back end where we're going to be putting, don't mind the bikes, they'll be moved. So where we're going to be putting the new chicken coop, we have a shed already built, which is where they're going to go, in there. And then we're going to clear all this bit out. This is my old wood store. This needs to be completely removed. That's my apple tree, and fallen apples are great food for chickens, which is going to make it great. We do need to do some repair on this fence, which we will do next episode. So we're going to have plenty of room for our hens to run around. We've already got plenty of room for the cockerel to run around. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And what's really exciting is next episode we are going to have our very special guest of Nathan. Nathan is going to be helping us do that episode because he is also involved with the chickens. He really loves taking part in the chicken part, and it's something that we both like to do together. So, this is what we're doing next episode. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to make sure that you keep up to date with my allotment progress, do be sure to subscribe. Find me on TikTok. I am also on Instagram and Facebook, but I hardly ever use those. But you can find me there if you like. I'll try and make sure that there is subscribe buttons and stuff here if I can figure out how to do that. If not, I'm fairly sure you can figure out where the subscribe button is. Thank you for coming to my show, A Little Allotment, and I will see you guys next week.